Alright, welcome back. So, yesterday, I didn't upload anything yesterday. I'm trying to do this daily. Just go ahead and start off. Hi. But yesterday I didn't upload anything because I had noticed after recording the last video that quality was kind of dog shit. We're not supposed to cuss within the first minute. Oh well, I don't care. But the quality was really bad. Turns out I was recording at like 480p max. So I then switched everything over to 1440p because that's what my computer can run at. But then everything gets like really laggy. So everything should be good now. I have a bad problem of not, doing any quality assurance before uploading the video. So sorry about the first video, but we should be good. Things did get a little adjusted in here. My face is a little bit bigger, but the overall screen is a little smaller. I'm not sure how I feel about that just yet, just because I don't really like my face being in this corner. Because I keep looking at it, and I'm like, wow, that's an ugly fucking dude. I don't like him being there. I guess I probably should just, switch it off and then just focus on the gameplay. That's probably the best thing to do. But either way, we are here to continue this journey. I'm actually very excited about this. So we'll go ahead and, like I said, after last video, I leveled up everyone to level 5. So we got Yami the Poochyena. There's its stats. Attack's pretty low, but so is Zigzagoon's. It's level 5. Speed's really good. One thing that's going to make the start of this game difficult is the fact that Poochyena is not a great Pokemon, and I'm only working with Tackle, and it's not Stab. So, like, grinding the 3 or 4 levels it took to get Zigzagoon leveled up took, like 5 battles. But then Yami kept dying, like, every other battle. Sorry, I'm drinking a little Dr. Pepper. But, alright, so we're on to our first route. We can finally start this adventure going on. Our first real trainer battle. So, just a little narration, I guess. Poochyena. We're about to get clobbered. So, it's just me at home right now. Usually, my girlfriend is taking care of the boys in the other room, keeping them quiet. The boys are not in here with me, because if they were, every time I call out their name, they'd probably perk up and get in the way. But, they're both kind of napping right now, so should be all quiet. But if they start to get rowdy and loud, I'll have to let them in here for the rest of the recording. But we will see how that goes. Still not entirely sure how I want to go about making these videos entertaining, if I'm being honest with you. I'm not really good at that. Sorry, I'm adjusting my mic. I probably should have been a little more professional and gotten everything set up before I started recording, but here we are. We are already, like I said, 1 battle, but pickup already coming through work. Great ball and a repel. But yeah, so just looking to kind of brainstorm some ideas. I don't know. I'm really not good at this. I'm trying to get better at it. At least with narration skills. I think this whole stream's going to be just me talking about how unentertaining I am, which is a pretty damn good way to convince people to watch, which I think will be good. But, yeah. I should probably start live streaming. No, I'm not gonna use you guys as my soundboard for this. We're gonna keep it talking about Pokemon. So, talk about some of my own thoughts with Pokemon news that's coming up. Sorry, I'm trying to turn down the game volume in my headphone because it's a little distracting. But, so Legends Z to A has been announced a while ago. I'm very late to news, at least as far as discussing it, just because, haven't uploaded in years. But I'm really excited. I'm really excited about Z to A. I'm also very nervous, just because Pokemon has not exactly been... They haven't exactly been in my good graces here lately. I still play Pokemon, obviously, But I haven't really been playing as much of the newer games as I honestly would kind of like to. I haven't even played the Scarlet and Violet DLCs. I'm not very tall, so I sink right into the tall grass. The grass goes up my nose and what you? I don't know why I read his. I always find his kind of funny. But yeah, with Legend Z to A, I don't know. I'm kind of going at it with the same attitude that I had with Legends Arceus, which is don't be excited until proven otherwise, if I'm being honest. I don't know. Because I know with Legends Arceus, when I first played it, I was not really looking forward to it, because I saw the trailers, I saw the 3 FPS Chingling, I saw how crappy the game textures looked, and I was just kind of like, oh, that's our new generation Pokemon right there, you know? And especially after we had just gotten BDSP before that, and that was what it was. I was just, needless to say, I was not super looking forward to it. I still got it anyway, because, you know, while I can bitch about Nintendo, I'm still a shill, and I still eat up Pokemon product like nobody's business. But when I first started playing it, I was really upset. I was really disappointed. Like, that first screen, like, for one, I was really excited. You know, I was like, okay, cool, it's just going to be an old-timey Pokemon game, you know? It's going to be set in old Sinnoh, you know, Hisui. It was going to be really kind of cool. You know, really get immersed into ancient Pokemon. And then we start out as a modern-day person with a phone. And I was just kind of like, oh, no. And then we get sent back in time by God, and I was like, oh, no. It's an isekai. I hate those. And then when you spawn in, you know, you're laying on the beach, and this guy wakes you up, and it looks so bad. The textures on him were so rough, the shading was terrible, it all looked so fucking bad. And if I ever do an episode to where I'm talking with my girlfriend, she can vouch that, like, because she was next to me when I started it, I did nothing but bitch for probably the first 30 minutes of the game. Really, really did. I was really, shit. Well, you gotta put me to sleep, you bitch. But, I was really disappointed. I was just like, this looks even worse than the trailers. What the fuck? But, I kept playing, because I was like, well, let's at least see where it goes. And story, kinda uninteresting. I mean, there were parts of the story that were definitely cool, but for the most part, this Shroomish is gonna kill me. This Shroomish is actually beating my ass. This is embarrassing. Hold up. I don't have any This is... I'm already about to lose. I mean, this isn't a Nuzlocke or anything, so I'm just gonna, you know, keep trying until we get through it. This is more of a can we beat the whole game with a Zigzagoon and Poochyena, not how long is it gonna take, because it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be really rough. I'm gonna run into town. I'm also gonna try to do this while reducing the grinding that I need to do. Like I said, if I hit a heavy roadblock, I will pause and grind, or if it's the end of the episode, I'll end it there and grind to no, I don't want to do this. I fat fingered. Leave me alone. But either way. Alright, now let's go help get Wally his stuff. I will pause on my story. I will finish my thought. Let's do a little narration. Hello, Dad. Well, if it isn't Fat Man, it's a weird thing to call your son. So you're all finished moving in. I'm surprised that you managed to get here by yourself. Oh, I see. You're with your Pokemon. Then I guess you're going to become a trainer like me. That's great news. I'll be looking forward to it. I'd like to get a Pokemon, please. Huh? Right. You're Wally, right? I'm gonna go stay with my relatives in Verdanturf Town. I thought I would be lonely by myself, so I wanted to take a Pokemon along. But I've never caught a Pokemon before. I don't know how. I see. Fat Man, you heard that right. Go with Wally and make sure that he safely catches a Pokemon. Here, I'll loan you mine. A Zigzagoon. Hey, that's my Pokemon. Give that shit back. Oh, wow. A Pokemon. I'll give you a Pokeball, too. Go for it. Oh, wow. Thank you. My dad really gave this boy a Zigzagoon and a singular Pokeball. And said, you know what? Fuck it. Go get you one. And something tells me this son of a bitch is about to. Which is unfortunate. Fat Man, Pokemon hide in the tall grass like this, don't they? Please watch me and see if I can catch one properly. Whoa! That was not proper sentencing at all. Routes. Routes. Not Ralts. Routes. Fun fact, while he's, catching this Routes, this is one of the few Pokemon that, isn't shiny locked in a cutscene like this. So, Wally can actually catch a shiny Ralts, but then he just doesn't have one for the rest of the game, if I'm remembering that correctly. Like, I know for a fact, it can be shiny, but if he catches it, it's not shiny anymore, which means the Ralts that he uses later on in the game is not the one he catches here. What happens to the original one, I don't know. But it's confirmed. I mean, it's not really confirmed. It's obviously just a coding thing to where they didn't code it in for him to keep it if it's shiny. Because, duh. But either way, it's still funny. Thank you. Yes, it did. Here's your Pokemon back. Fat Man, thank you for coming along with me. You two are why I was able to catch my Pokemon. I promise I'll take really good care of it. Oh, my mom's waiting for me, so I have to go. Bye! Now, if you want to become a strong trainer, here's my advice. Head for Rustboro beyond this town. There you should challenge the gym leader, Roxanne. After her, go on to the other Pokemon gyms and defeat their leaders. Collect badges from them, understood? Of course, I'm a gym leader too. We'll battle one day, but that's only after you become stronger. Alright. So we're moving on to the next leg of our journey. I've already healed up, so we're ready to continue. Oh! I forgot about Scott. Let me guess, from the way you're dressed, are you a Pokemon trainer? How could you fucking tell? Well, maybe not. Your clothes aren't all that dirty. Fuck you. You're either a rookie trainer or maybe you're just an ordinary kid. I'm roaming the land in search of talented trainers. I'm sorry to have taken your time. What a bitch. He saw my Zigzagoon and Poochyena and was like, not this guy. Not this guy. He's not that guy. But, let me grab some Potions, because I am feeling a little naked right now. Oh, I can grab one. That's right. I spent all my money on Pokeballs to catch 15 Zigzagoon and Poochyena. But yeah. So, back to Legends Arceus. I really was not happy with it. I wasn't enjoying it. I really hated the way it looked. The movement felt a little clunky. The Pokeball mechanics were definitely, something you had to learn. But I stuck with it. I kept playing. And I kind of found myself getting really addicted to it. I really did. I really ended up enjoying it a lot. I thought the catching mechanic was super cool. I felt like the battles were super nice and concise. Simplified, obviously, but it felt good. I enjoyed that it didn't really seem to matter how over-leveled you were. Trainer battles were still, tough. They're not just trainer battles, but like the wild Pokemon battles. You couldn't just have a singular Pokemon over-level them and go through the game like that. You had to have a full team. And, maybe I'll do a video to where I do a big in-depth analysis of the game. But, later on, like battles in the game, especially the very final battle, damn hard, like really hard. And I enjoyed that. I enjoyed it a lot. I liked the massive emphasis on catching Pokemon that the game had, because if you think about it, for a game who, granted, their I was about to say catchphrase, but I don't think it's a catchphrase. I guess their logo has always kind of been "gotta catch 'em all." Well, I say always. When did they stop that? It was after Gen 2, right? So it was gotta catch 'em all for the first 2 gens, which I guess thinking back on it at this point, that's really not most of the game's life. But I started with Gen 2, so for me it's gotta catch 'em all, and it always has been gotta catch 'em all. So, but anyway, for a franchise whose whole kind of slogan, that's the name I was thinking of, for gotta catch 'em all, to not really put much emphasis on catching in like most of the games. Gen 1 kind of did. Like there was the professor assistants throughout the game that gave you sometimes necessary items like HMs, but other times nice items like the EXP all and stuff. You know, those items were locked behind oh, I forgot this guy battled me. We're locked behind having caught a number of Pokemon, but since then we haven't really seen a big emphasis on catching Pokemon in a Pokemon game since Gen 1. And even then, having some optional side items locked behind catching Pokemon, I don't really feel like counts as a big emphasis. But it was cool to have a game toward that was the focus. Training, battling, grinding, all of that was second nature. That was not the focus. The focus was catching, evolving, completing the Pokedex challenges. Just, I really liked it. I really liked it a lot. I never went back and like replayed it after I did everything that I'd wanted to, but I'd have to look it up, but I'd be willing to say at least 80 to 90 hours in that game. And I mean, I had a blast. It turned out to be one of my favorite Pokemon games. But at the same time, it's also one that I don't really have that big of an interest in replaying, which is kind of weird. Never really thought about that. Like, I always tout it as one of my favorites, but I have no interest in replaying it. I don't know. I guess for me, the excitement of catching them all and filling up the Pokedex, like, after you spend 80 hours doing it, you're not really like, oh, let's do it again. You know? Probably in a couple years, I'll probably revisit it, especially depending on, you know, when Pokemon devolves to a point where I'm getting nostalgic for the Switch 1 era Pokemon games. Hopefully that never happens. Hopefully they finally learn their lesson with the shit show that was Scarlet and Violet, and they've repathed themselves, or repaved a path for themselves. We'll see. Time will tell. And Z to A is going to be that time that's going to tell. But again, I was super excited, or I was not excited about Legends Arceus. Ended up being really surprised with it. Then I was really excited about Scarlet and Violet. Just didn't really vibe with that game that well. I really feel like I need to go back and play the DLCs to give an honest opinion on Scarlet and Violet, because, like, I know Sword and Shield was kind of rough, but the DLCs did add a lot of good stuff. So maybe it improves it, you know? I've only heard good things about the DLCs from Scarlet and Violet. But at the same time, if you think about it, like, think about the bias that's going to those reviews. Most of the people that played the DLC for Scarlet and Violet were the people that enjoyed Scarlet and Violet enough to keep playing it and then get the DLCs. Like, most of my friends that played Scarlet and Violet, even the ones that beat it, I don't think any of them have played the DLCs. And if they have, they haven't spoken to me about it. I guess if any of you are watching, you could let me know in the comments. But yeah, I don't know. So I feel like I'm gonna treat Z to A the same way I treated Arceus in terms of I'm not even going to be cautiously optimistic. I am just gonna be cautious about it and hope that maybe after, you know, looking over the rough edges, maybe things will turn out okay. You know, maybe things will end up looking pretty good. I mean, realistically, at this point, the bar's set so low for Pokemon that if they just gave us a game that looked good and had, like, mechanics that we liked, they're not gonna fail, because, like, it seems like it's always one or the other. Like, people really liked Legends Arceus and the gameplay mechanic and the gameplay loop and all the styling and stuff of that game. The game just looked really rough. Like, it looked really unfinished. And then kind of the same thing with Scarlet and Violet. Like, I think most people really enjoyed the open world idea. They just really hate that the open world was uninteresting, boring, not a whole lot to really do. And I've heard some people make this, make the claim of like, oh, there was so much to like do in the open world. Like there's so many items and trainers and wild Pokemon and yada yada yada. And it's like, yeah, but like those things didn't matter in the terrain. Like if you were in the open fields, there was Pokemon items and trainers. If you were in the cave section, there were items, trainers, and Pokemon. Like everywhere you went, it was just items, trainers, and Pokemon. There wasn't like any defining features to it, especially the towns. I could bitch about the towns forever, but I'm not going to. Not in this video. Maybe another video. Maybe. See, now I'm thinking. Now my mind's working. But again, like, the gameplay loop was fun. You know? The battling was a little bit quicker. The animations were a little more simpler, which at first I didn't like. I kind of like, you know what? It does speed up the battle a little bit, and when you're doing so many battles, it is kind of nice. You know, leveling up was simple. You know, whether like or hate the EXP share, Scarlet and Violet was the first game to where the EXP share always being on wasn't an annoyance for me. And the reason for that was simply, I forget where I heard it. I can't remember if this was an official statement from someone who works at Game Freak, or if it was a Pokemon YouTuber that put the idea out there. But I remember at some point hearing that the point of the EXP share always being active was that it allowed people to change their team on the go. Because like back in the older games, and I can agree with this, you kind of wanted to have your team set in stone within the first 3 to 4 gym badges. Because if you tried to add something later, like between having to level it up, not having the EVs gathered through all the battles, it kind of, you handicapped yourself. And then not to mention, you're going to have to spend time to really level up, you know, your Pokemon. But the big thing was the EVs, you know, because let's say the gym you're going up against is level 30, and your highest Pokemon's level 30, but it's a Pokemon you've had since level 5. That Pokemon's going to be a lot stronger than that gym leader's Pokemon just based on the EVs. But if you go and catch it at level 31 in the wild, which you won't, because the wild Pokemon are always like 10 levels below the gym, but if you were to, it would be a lot weaker than the gym leader. So you still have to grind, and it's just a pain in the ass. But alright. Not a one to be found. Hello, have you seen any Pokemon called Shroomish around here? Not in the forest, but there's a lady outside the forest that just fucked my ass with one. Maybe go talk to her. Yeah, well, I don't love that Pokemon anymore. So you go talk to her about that. I was going to ambush you, but you had to dawdle into Petalburg's wood forever, didn't you? I got sick of waiting, so here I am. You, Devin researcher, hand over those papers. You're a Pokemon trainer, aren't you? You've got to help me, please. Huh? What do you think you're doing? What, you're going to protect him? I don't know. You can have him. I don't know this fucking dude. No one who crosses Team Aqua gets any mercy, not even a kid. Come on, battle me. Sorry, I love the Team Aqua and Team Magma music. It's one of my favorite rival team themes. It's not the best one, but it's definitely up there. I really enjoy the Team Aqua and Team Magma. Oh shit, I'm getting set up on. This ain't good. Kotaro, come through. I heard shuffling in the bedroom. He heard me. Shit. But this is one of the problems with me doing streams like this, and one of the reasons why I do speculate long term I'm not going to be able to do these kind of playthrough commentaries, because I completely forgot what my previous point was. You know, having ADHD, it's gone. It's entirely gone. I forget every single... I know I was talking about Legends Arceus. And that's it. Oh! I remembered it. I'm a smart guy. I know my brain. But we're going to have to forget my train of thought real quick because I have more narration. Grr, you've got some nerves meddling with Team Aqua. Come on and battle me again. I wish I could say that, but I'm out of Pokemon. And hey, we of Team Aqua are also after something in Rustboro. I'll let you go today. Phew, that was awfully close. Thanks to you, he didn't rob me of these important papers. I know I'll give you a Great Ball as my thanks. We are just getting the Great Balls. Too bad we are not catching any Pokemon. Didn't that Team Aqua thug say they were after something in Rustboro too? Uh-oh, it's a crisis. I can't be wasting time. I'm glad you finally realized that you were just out here dawdling. Alright, so I don't need to heal up. We're doing pretty good. But yeah, so back onto my point about Legends Arceus and just Pokemon in general. The gameplay of Scarlet and Violet, I think, was ultimately good. Like, it wasn't the core gameplay of Scarlet and Violet that was bad. It was the horribly dog shit optimization that the game featured. Just textures bad, games crashing, lagging out the ass. Like, dude, I will also say, I do know that some of the issues seem to be different from like person to person. A lot of people speculate, it's like, oh well, it mattered if it was saved to your SD or your hardware, or you know, if your system was up to date or stuff like that. I don't honestly think that really mattered, or at least I don't know how much it mattered. Because I had mine saved to the SD card at first. And I wasn't experiencing too many problems. The main problem I experienced was frame rate drops. Real bad frame rate drops. And when I transferred it over to my, the handheld instead of the SD card, it didn't fix a damn thing. It literally did not fix a damn thing. But I will say, you know, because I've seen videos of, like, rampant game crashes, horrible out-the-ass glitches, you know, like, Koraidon and Miraidon just straight up disappearing when you... Oh, shit, this is bad. This is really bad. This Ninkata's about to kill me. And I don't have any PP on my Ziggy. On my Coco. I would say let's lock in, but there's really nothing I can do but try to kill this guy. But yeah, I never really had any big problems. I got very lucky. Like I said, the only problem I had was frame rate drops. And it was always distasteful. Like, whenever it would happen, I'd be like, come on, man. I should not be lagging every time I jump. That should have been something that was optimized immediately. You know? But what I did experience was when I first got to the last area where the Dragon Titan is, the Tatsugiri, in Dodanzo. My frame rate dropped to like 5. It lagged so bad that I was like, if my game ever does crash, because I'd gone the whole game without a crash, I was like, if my game does crash, it's going to be here. And sure enough, it crashed like twice. But only in that area. And I do know I did read a lot of people saying that the crashes were due to like a system overload for playing the game for too long. And I mean, maybe, I don't know. Some people said it really worked for them. Other people didn't. But those were the only 2 times my game ever crashed. I would say knock on wood, but I'm not gonna knock on wood because 1, I doubt I'm really going to be playing that game anymore, so knocking on wood doesn't matter. And 2, if I do knock on wood, my dogs are going to go ape shit, and I don't feel like dealing with them right now. But anyway, original point, I've jumped like 4 points ahead, was the gameplay of Scarlet and Violet were good. The gameplay of Legends Arceus was really good, but just the graphics were so awful. And then, if you go to, like, Let's Go, you know, a lot of people hated on Let's Go. In fact, a lot of people didn't even play Let's Go. But graphically, the game looked awesome. The game looked awesome. It was just, most people weren't really a big fan of the 2 big things from my awareness. A lot of people weren't a big fan of the massive gameplay change. You know, the fact that it went to a catching-based mechanic, funnily enough, but the fact that there was no wild Pokemon battles, that battling was kind of second nature, and also just, it was the 3rd time we visited Kanto in its exclusive game. If you count going to Kanto in post-game, is the 5th time we've been to Kanto. So I think most people were just like, oh great, we're going to Kanto again. Yippee. And the fact that it only featured the original 151. It did feature the Alolan versions of the original 151, which was a nice addition, but it went too simplistic. You know, no held items, no abilities, a lot of moves were axed. Just a lot of core features to Pokemon were taken out. So, but again, the game looked amazing. Like, it is hands down the best looking Pokemon game on Switch, other than like the new Pokemon Snap, and that was just because that was a graphical showcase of how good Pokemon could look, you know. So of course that's always going to be the best one out of all the Switch games that we got. But if they could just have the graphical fidelity of Let's Go, just the immense polish and care that they put into making that game look as good as it did, if they would do that with just doing the things that they did right in previous games. Like, the problem is Pokemon's kind of one of those things to where it hasn't changed a whole lot, but where it has changed is where a lot of people complain about. Like, just anytime they try to do something wholly new, which I understand from, like, a developer's perspective, you want to change it up, because that's also intrigue for you, right? So, like, if you're just making the same game over and over, you're going to lose passion for it. And, I mean, in a lot of ways, they have just been making the same game over and over for ever now. But at the same time, like, the core of Pokemon is what people come back for. So, like, when you really change that, I don't know. Again, it's a real complicated mess of ideas, because Let's Go changed up things a lot and was not for the better for it. Most people did not like it. You know, but Legends Arceus changed up things a lot, and people really liked it. So, I mean, I guess it's not really changing the core gameplay that's the problem. I guess it's just the presentation. Well, no, presentation isn't it either, because Let's Go looked great, and Arceus looked like shit, and everyone loved Arceus. So, I don't really know. I don't really know what the Pokemon fans want. Like, we want things to stay the same, but then BDSP proved that no, we don't want things to not evolve and change. Granted, BDSP is a whole nother talking point, but either way, I don't know. I'm cautious of Legends Z to A. I'm very cautious, especially because they announced that Z to A is only going to take place within Lumio City. That's going to be that's going to be an interesting change. That's going to be a very interesting change. Because, like, I mean, the only time we were in Lumio City was X and Y. And while it was big, it's definitely the biggest, like, in-game city we've ever been in. It wasn't that big, you know? Like, it wasn't overwhelming. But at the same time, this is going to be much bigger. This is going to be a real scaled city. You know? So I'm curious how they're going to do it. Like, if they're going to keep it to where it's all, like, you have access to the whole city at once. You know, kind of like in Scarlet and Violet, but certain areas are just harder. Or if they're gonna... God damn it, another Shroomish! I can't deal with you guys! Oh my god. Oh my god, stop. Stop. Poochyena. But, I don't know. I get the feeling what they're going to do is they're going to... See, I don't know. I have a theory that the thing of the game is going to be... Because in the original trailer, it referred to the project as the... Was it the Kalos Renovate... Or the Lumiose Renovation Project or something like that? Reurbanization plan. The re-urbanization plan. I think. It's been a long time since I've seen that trailer, and I've speculated. But, anyway, seems to be the theme of the game is that they're trying to revamp Lumio City. So, am I dumb? What was all those howls for? I doubled my attack, and I'm doing the exact same damage. This is awful. But... I imagine we're going to start in a section of the city, and as the city gets built, we'll get access to more and more. You know, I kind of feel like that's probably the best way to go about it. But who knows? We'll see. It's going to be really interesting how they implement wild Pokemon, if they do at all. They might not. They might, It would be cool for them to do something similar to how they did with, like, Coliseum and XD, to where there's no wild no wild Pokemon. I'm gonna run back with my tail between my legs real quick and heal. Because I have a double battle and another trainer battle to do before I get to the next city. And this run's already not going that well for us. I surmise it's going to get easier as you progress. Because the beginning part of this game, you get enough experience to really level up 1 to 2 Pokemon and be right where you need to be. But later parts of the game, you get a lot more experience for a full team. So with us only having 2 different Pokemon, I'd probably say by the end of it, we're going to be maybe not hyper over leveled, but we're going to be leveled up. We're going to be pretty well leveled up. But no, if they do it with, like they did with the GameCube games, to where there's no real wild Pokemon, that could be really interesting. But I doubt they'd bring back Shadow Pokemon? That could be really fucking cool. That could be really cool if the way they get around the lack of wild Pokemon is, you know, that could kind of be your mission is, you know, you're trying to help rebuild Lumio City while also, you know, maybe Team Flare is still, you know, mingling in the underground and they're in the Shadow Pokemon trade. Like, that could be really fucking cool. But that also feels a bit heavy. And I don't know why, but Pokemon always seems to be hesitant with handling more heavy topics. Even though, like, every single game someone's trying to destroy the fucking world. But they're like, but we don't want it to be too dark. Like, we don't want it to be too serious. Meanwhile, you know, I mean, in this game alone, we get to the brink of destruction with Groudon or Kyogre awakening and the whole, you know, world just going to shit. And then we, you know, gotta go find Sky Daddy and get him to stop it. Like, that's cool. But, I don't know, for some reason, darker topics. It's weird. They always include it, but it's like they tread the line with it. You know? But, I don't know. I want to hope. I want to stay positive. Because every new video game in general, but every new Pokemon game has a potential to be amazing. So, I'm gonna hope that maybe they, after Scarlet and Violet, they have a new focus. And they're like, alright, BDSP was a shit show. Sword and Shield was pretty bad. Scarlet and Violet was a fucking mess. Legends Arceus was a really, really big success. Not a whole lot of complaints from the wider community in that one. So maybe they... Oh yeah, we got Headbutt now. It's over. Oh! So much damage. Yeah, this Zigzagoon's going to be our powerhouse for this game. No doubt. No doubt. You know what I just thought about? The Rock Gym. This Rock Gym's going to suck. This is going to be really bad. Yami, I need you to go ahead and learn Bite real quick. I know you're not that good at biting, but I need you to figure that shit out right now. Because Headbutt Zigzagoon is good, but it's not going to be good enough. It's not going to be good enough. Granted, we have one more route to kind of truck through to get us what we need. So we will we'll see. Give me just a second. I'm responding to a text from my girlfriend. Just because the weather is pretty bad right now. I say it's pretty bad, but it's bad for the south. It's bad for down here. It's sleeting, it's icy, people don't know how to drive. Everyone's blowing up my phone, letting me know about how many accidents there have been, which I understand, because I was almost one of them the last time it snowed. Oh, hold on. That was unprofessional as hell of me, I'm sorry. I usually stay off my phone when I'm doing these, but she's a little more important than my stream. But yeah, the last time it snowed, so a little bit of context. I have two vehicles. Well, me and my girlfriend have two vehicles. We share vehicles. We have the truck, which is a four-wheel drive Tacoma. And then we have, which is really my car because she hasn't learned how to drive it yet. We have a manual MX-5, a Miata. I love that car so damn much. But I drive the Miata. She drives the truck. She can't drive stick shift yet. Anyway, so the last time it snowed, which it snowed hard. Today it hasn't snowed. It's just been sleet and ice. But last time when it snowed, I didn't think it was going to be that bad. I was like, it's the South. Every time that they say it's going to put down 4 or 5 inches, it's barely even that, and it doesn't even stick. Everyone was like, oh, it's not going to be shit. It's completely fine. Whatever. Well, then it starts snowing, and I'm like, huh, it's snowing pretty hard. And I was working till 10 that night. But I was like, you know what? I've driven in snow tons of times. I'm from Maryland. I'm not used to snow. Or I am used to snow. At least driving in it. Every time I go up to see my family up there, it's always snowing. So, not that big a deal for me. Sorry, my back is itching so bad. Holy shit. But so I get in my little car. I start it up. I'm letting it heat up since, you know, it is frosty and I cannot see anything. And once I have some visibility back and I can see, I start to drive. And I take off easy. I don't give it any gas. I'm not that aggressive of a driver. And we're fine. We're going straight. I feel like I have good traction. Everything's good. I then come to the red light, and I'm taking a right, and so I slowly take the right. Okay, it's fine. I'm in the downtown area of where I live, or where I work. Everything's fine. I then get on the straightaway from that light, and I give it a little gas. I mean, a little bit of gas. My RPM meter goes from 900 to 1500. That's it. Just a little gas. And I immediately lose my back tires. I was like, oh shit. Because I was only going like 10 miles an hour. I was like, alright. Maybe I gave it just a little too much gas. You know, maybe this is a 1200 RPM kind of night. Right? So I get on the next straightaway. And I'm keeping it under 1200 RPMs. And I'm fine. I'm like, okay. I just got to keep her calm. Now, I'm already thinking, I'm like, well, I have about a 30-minute drive home. And about 20 of those miles, because it's a 30-mile drive, about 20 of those miles is on highway. I can't really just, like, truck it. Because at like 1200 RPM in 6th gear, I'm going maybe 35. Maybe. I don't think I've ever... That sounds about right. That feels right. But yeah, so I'm like, this is going to be a long night. But so I get on one of the main roads to go through the town that I work in. And I'm going about 20. And I'm like, okay, we're fine. I'm in 4th gear. I was like, all right, let's put it into 5th. Speed up just a little, right? And as soon as I hit like 23 miles per hour, immediate spin. Like full, I didn't just lose a little traction. I was sideways in the fucking road. I was like, oh shit. That's not good. So I immediately call Hannah. And I'm like, hey, that's my girlfriend, by the way. I was like, hey, babe, don't freak out. I've already spun out. I've already lost traction twice. And she was like, oh my God, are you okay? I was like, yeah, we're fine. Just a little sketched out. And she was like, can you make it home? And I was like, I think so. I'm just going to have to take it really slow. But we'll see. I was like, are you still at work? She was like, yes. I was like, all right, well, we'll see how I getting to the other side of town, which is where she worked. If I make it just fine and I kind of get used to driving on it, then I'll just coast home. Otherwise, we're going to have to figure something out. So, I'm going down the road. I'm only going like 20. I get up to 25 and I'm fine. And I'm like, all right. So I'm just going straight. There's no turns, nothing. And there's a red light coming up. And I was like, well, let me go ahead and try to stop. So I gently push on the brakes. And as soon as I do that, I do like a 180 spin. And I immediately called up Hannah again. And I was like, babe, you're still at work, right? She was like, yes, are you okay? I'm like, I just spun out again. This time coming to a stop. And she starts freaking out. You know, oh my God, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm okay. I'm laughing. Partially because I was like, it's sketchy as hell. But also because it was kind of fun. Just, you know. I mean, it's a Miata. It's a really good drift car. But I'm kind of a pussy. So I've never... Oh, goddamn. That Machop, how dare you kill me in the middle of my story, you asshole. Get headbutted. Wow. Hey! Look at Coco go. But yeah, so I'm laughing. She's not really appreciating that, understandably. But I limp over to her work, and I park the car in the office of where she works, and then we get in her truck once she was done, and we crawl on home, which was completely fine. The truck, no issues at all. Like, we didn't go above 45 on the way home, but we probably could have gone a little faster, but this is the South. The main problem with snow in the South is we don't have the infrastructure or the stuff to prepare for it. So when it gets icy, it's bad. Like, the roads are just frozen over. And there is... Ooh, a nugget. Fuck yeah. And there's not much anyone can do. Also, I don't know what it is, but, like, so everywhere you go, drivers are going to be a bit different. You know, like, whenever I go up north, driving through especially the DC or Baltimore area, drivers are assholes. Like, no one is going to give you any roadside consideration. Like, you can be stopped at, like, a four-way intersection to where it's only stop signs on this side. If you are going any type of slow because you're being cautious, people will start blowing through the stop sign. Like, they do not give a shit. They do not care. They gotta go where they gotta go. And if you present an opening to them, no matter how illegal or dangerous that opening is, they're gonna take that opening. A little side story on that. So my dad lives up in Maryland. And the guys of you that are watching this that are my personal friends know a good bit about my dad. But for those that don't, my dad is a very interesting man. He's a very safe man. That's the thing I should say. He's very safe about everything. Like, for example, he despises the fact that I bought a Miata. Just hates it. A Miata is entirely contrary to everything this man believes in. As far as vehicles go. Like, he is a Camry and Tacoma kind of guy. Maybe, maybe Lexus, but he'll stick with the Tacoma and the Camry. He does have an Avalon. He did upgrade from his Camry to an Avalon, but that was more out of convenience rather than, like, personal choice. God damn this Nakata. The weirdest Pokemon are being problematic for me in this run. That's kind of interesting. I'm having to get smart around Shroomish and Ninkata. But, anyway. A little bit of perspective. I can remember before we bought the Miata, I was looking at getting a Civic. Specifically, I really wanted a Civic Si. Just because I like manual. I like Civics. A Civic Si. 2007 Civic Si was what I learned to drive manual in, because that was my older brother's car. So it's a little bit nostalgic for me, even though I didn't want an 07. I wanted one of the newer ones because they're turbocharged, a little peppier, whatever. But anyone that knows anything about cars knows that while a Civic Si is turbocharged, it is manual. SI stands for sports injection. They're not quick cars. They're really not. They weigh 3,500 pounds. They make barely over 200 horsepower. Their 0 to 60 time, as reported, is, I think, like 6.1 or 6.2 seconds. I mean, to put that in perspective, the four-cylinder Mustangs have a 0 to 60 of 5 seconds flat. The newer MX-5s, they have a 0 to 60 of 5.5 seconds. 5.5 with the soft top, 5.6 with the hard top. Which isn't bad, but no one's sitting in an MX-5 being like, oh my god, it's fast! 0 to 60 of, like, the V6 Camrys, which is what my dad drives, mind you, is, like, I think 6.3 seconds. So, a bit slower, right? But it's also a lot heavier than a Civic. But, like, so I show my dad. Now, granted, my dad was not responsible for what I bought. So I still could have, but I ended up not going to it because the person that was selling it felt a little shady. But, I showed it to my dad, and he immediately was like, why do you need a sports car? I was like, it's a Honda Civic. It's a Civic. He was like, it's got a spoiler. I'm like, yeah, and it's a front-wheel drive car. That spoiler's like the most useless thing you could ever see on a car. What does that mean? It slows it down, if anything else. Like, it'd be faster if it didn't have a spoiler. He was like, it's turbocharged. I'm like, it gets 42 miles to the gallon. He was like, it's not reliable. It's not practical. I'm like, it is reliable because it's Honda. Which, like, Toyota's his favorite. Honda's his second favorite. He doesn't ever need to pick his second favorite, which is why everything he has is Toyota. But still, like, Honda's really reliable. He was like, it's not practical. I'm like, what's not practical about it? It's a 4-seater with a hatchback trunk that gets 42 miles to the gallon. I was like, you drive a V6 Camry that has 100 more horsepower than this thing and gets 20 less miles to the gallon. So, like, why is the Honda Civic so bad, but the V6 Camry is out of the question? Like, that doesn't, logically, it doesn't make any sense. And my dad's a very smart man. But again, from his perspective, he saw SI, he saw turbocharged, he saw a sporty red paint job, and he saw a spoiler. So in his mind, no, irresponsible, it's a sports car, you don't need a sports car, you're gonna kill yourself, right? So that's my dad. But when he gets behind the wheel of his little V6 Tacoma, I say little V6 Tacoma, we drive the same vehicle, his is just newer, but he gets behind the wheel of his V6 Tacoma, and that man is redlining it everywhere. Like, he pulls out of his driveway, just goes immediately. Everywhere he goes, he runs it. And I can remember the last time, I was trying to do this double battle. The last time we went up north to see my dad, when all of this, me literally watching people run stop signs, because I was being cautious because everyone was driving erratically, this is going to be a problem. I am not 100% sure how I get through this Geodude. We are going to play this hella safe first. Also, I do not have any rule against me using items inside of battle. That if I was just doing it to where I was quickly storming through this and, just cutting it and editing it to give you guys the pieces, then that would be one thing. But, hold on, sorry. A pop-up came up that got into my way and messed up my visibility for a second. So I'm trying to, there we go. Now I can see just fine. But yeah, I'm going to use items in battle just to keep from making long battles even longer. Because I don't want to be here forever doing this. As much as I am enjoying listening to my own voice. That's a joke. I kind of don't like my voice all that much. God bless, though, oh, shit. The lights just flickered. I don't know if y'all saw that. Ooh, shit. This is getting sketchy. It's already been an hour. I'm so sorry. This is going to be a long-ass series, which is going to be fun. I'm having fun so far, but we're not even at the first batch. I might have to think about something to cut down the time on this. I might have to do what I suggested and only really show like the big battles. But we'll see. We'll figure that out. We'll see how it goes. If anyone is watching this, let me know what y'all would rather see. Would y'all rather just have a more concise series to where I'm just kind of going over the big battles and important points? Or the full thing, let's go through this full journey together piece by piece. But anyway, finishing my story. So I get back home and I'm like, for as much shit as we give drivers in the South for not knowing how to drive whenever there's rain or snow, people up here don't know how to drive when the weather's perfectly clear and the sun's out. You know, and I told my dad, like, people are just running stop signs. Like, if it wasn't for the fact that I was being a bitch and I was scared of being, you know, T-boned, that could have been really fucking bad. And my dad, without missing a beat, was just like, no cop, no stop. And I'm like, Father, what in the fuck do you mean no cop, no stop? You don't even like the idea of a vehicle with a turbocharger on it because it's too impractical and dangerous. Yet all of a sudden running stop signs? That's cool? So we draw the line at 200 horsepower. But just disobeying traffic laws? Let's do that. That's safe. That's exactly what you should be doing to keep yourself safe and alive. He was like, well, if you see an opening, take an opening. And I'm like, no, that's not what you're supposed to do. In fact, that is how you T-bone someone or get T-boned. Like, that is exactly why red lights and stop signs exist, is to prevent that. And he was just like, well, don't be a bitch next time. I'm like, all right, fucker. I didn't realize we just didn't follow road rules in this house. My bad. Here I'm sitting there thinking my dad's a good, smart, you know, straight of the road kind of guy. And no, he's just an asshole, I guess. It's the moral of the story, I guess. My dad's just a bit of an asshole when he's on the road. When he's on the road. When he's at home, you know, turbochargers are the devil. But when you're on the road, fuck everyone else. You know, good luck. Good luck to everyone. I don't know. It's always been perplexing to me. But I am going to run with my tail between my legs because this is kind of kicking my ass. And I'm going to stop it here. So here's my plan. I'm going to end this episode here. I'm going to record one more episode, which is finishing out those last two trainers. And then, actually, you know what? Here's what we're going to do. All right. No, I'm going to stop it here. I'm not going to get greedy. I'm going to stop it here. You'll probably see this video up tonight or tomorrow morning. I'm going to go ahead and record the next part of this video, which is going to be doing those last two trainers. Grinding however much I need to get Poochyena to no bite, and then tackling Roxanne. Then I'm going to wait to hear from you guys as far as, are y'all enjoying this kind of monologue-filled, slow journey through Emerald alongside me? Or if you're just more interested in seeing the more nail-biting things. Because, honestly, either one works well for me. I feel like the latter option would be more enjoyable for you guys, because that would still give me time to narrate, but also give a bigger emphasis on the game, as well as the battles, and just to kind of see how difficult or easy this is. Or we stick with the original plan of just doing a whole trial and tribulation together, and it gives me some more practice on narration, you know, practicing on video editing, stuff like that. So I think that's what I'm gonna end it here. So I will see you guys in the next video. Like I said, let me know, like, comment, subscribe, all that shit, or don't. I don't care, honestly. Hey, whatever. Most of you guys watching this are already subscribed, and one of you likes it. That's cool. Thank you. But I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.